You, I'm finally live. Anyone can see that put a thumbs up whether I'm live or not. I'm not really sure. Okay, that's all. It's good. Everything's good. So now let's start. Good morning, everyone. I don't know what time is it over there, where you are, and which part of country you are from. And I'm doing live today. As you know, I have a title put it there. I'm going to talk about the workshop strategies. So any one of you can tell me what you mean by workshop and also workshop strategies. I'm sure that most of you, if you're working or you are working in for yourself or the company, you know what does workshop mean. So I'm going to talk about a little bit about workshop strategies and about the facilitators and also the quite a few things about the workshop and also the designing, workshop design and planning. So just stay tuned, and then if you have question, you can ask. Just put it in the comment section down there, and then I will go back to your questions, or else you can suggest, put comments, any feedback, and just let me know. Okay, let's get started. So workshop strategies. First of all, I'm going to talk about workshop strategies. So what are they? So what do you mean by workshop strategies? And what purpose and needs they meet? And what can students expect from that? Okay. Of course, the real workshop strategies and the knowledge about workshop strategies is very different, because you are participating in the workshop as if you are live, you are presented live in the work environment. But when you know the knowledge, it is good as well, because you know what's going on in the workshop, and what as in an industrial situation or in the office or anyway organization. So it is good to know both way. You have experience, you have knowledge. It's both of course both very professional for your work environment, is beneficial for your work environment as well. You have to combine experience and knowledge. Okay, here I'm going to just give you a few knowledge about the workshop strategies. So how do you cope with the constant change in the society? How do you cope with the constant changing in the society in the workshop situation? So of course, I have talked about a lot about the lifelong learning. So with the constant changing in the society and of course the world, and which is what I mean, the world now is very different from the world before the COVID-19. So but the knowledge is still the same, after that, it will be over. So in order to have to adapt to this constant changing in the society and environment and also the world, we need to adopt lifelong learning. Lifelong learning is really can help you to cope with the situation, any situation, because you have so much knowledge, you have so much experience, and you're learning all the time as an adult. So it enables a workforce society that is well educated to be flexible. The word flexible is very connected to the lifelong learning. So so I think I suggest that everybody as an adult, as adults, we should adopt lifelong learning. I have a lot of video that I have made quite a while or just a while ago, and about lifelong learning, you can go back to my you can go to my playlist and look for lifelong learning, and you can watch and get a little bit of information out of it. I'm sure you can get some information out of. If those of you don't know what do you mean by lifelong learning, I'm sure all of you knows. So how do you warm up the group? The question are, I just give you a list of questions that you may be know how to answer by yourself, or you can suggest it in the group, and you can comment or give feedback under the comment section. So another question is, what is the ideal group size, and what are the roles of the facilitators in the workshop? And I'm sure that all of you know what you mean by facilitators. So you can answer that for me, and then you can get back to me. You can answer it on yourself, or you can put a suggestion under the comment section. So what are the golden rules for group to learn effectively? So for example, if you're in a group, you don't know anyone, or you know someone, or you know everybody, so what would be the best things that to keep the group to work effectively? So the answer is number one. I have talked about that in my past videos about the workshop strategies. So first of all, also, of course, you reserve the judgment. If you have any objections or any disagreement about the or anything, and you can reserve your judgment, which is very good. You can do it freely. So reserve judgment will be the best way. So the second one is listen and offer feedback to one another. Yeah, this is reasonable. So listen to the facilitator or the leaders or the managers, or and give feedback to one another. And number three is be willing to take risks and venture new ideas. There will be a lot of new ideas coming out from the administrators, so you just take it as an opportunity to venture into the new ideas suggested by the administrators. And yeah, and number four is to encourage all members to speak and to participate. So if you are the administrators, you can encourage them to speak and try using icebreaker, and I'll talk about icebreaker later. And number five is to view conflicts if they emerge. So as human beings, we cannot avoid conflicts. There will be conflicts among us in any way. So you can view conflicts if they engage as an opportunity for learning. So any conflicts or disagreement, you can view it as an opportunity for learning. And so, what are the purposes of the workshop? Can anyone tell me what are the purposes of workshop? No? Okay, the purpose of a workshop is, number one, is to develop the individual competence, of course, or the participant within a particular well-defined area of need. So in the workshop, they are competence, like very competitive, and they compete for one another. This is a working environment. We have competition, but it's different from your friends gather together. We have no competition, but in workshop situation, they always have competition. Just remember that. And number two is to emphasize the transfer and application of new learning. So if you have a previous experience, and you are working in a new environment, and you are in a workshop training, so you can transfer from the old experience, old knowledge to the new learning, to the new knowledge in where you are working at the moment, like the new environment. You can apply to that. You can have so much knowledge already, so you can apply to that. If the working situation is quite the same, the working rules and strategies are still the same, you can apply from your previous experience as well. Number three is to provide for hands-on practice. Provide example to for example, the laboratory, like and number four is to design to be highly interactive. So in the workshop, because you need to learn a lot, so you have make sure that you have interactive with other members and asking questions, interact with each other, and help each other. This is called highly interactive. Number five is to support the participants are learning from one another. So there is a competition, of course, but you can learn from each other under this kind of environment, competitive environment. Okay? It's very useful. Learn to help each other, learn from each other. So remember, you have to keep to the norms or transform the goal to the workshop of the workshop. So workshop environment is very different from outside environment. Workshop environment is supposed to have rules, to have norms. You are not allowed to do certain things. You are allowed to do certain things, and as well as like associate with the group outside with the work members. You are allowed to do certain things and not allowed to do certain things, and all this. You make sure you keep to the norms and the goal of the workshop, and promoting the application of learning as a central theme. So in the workshop, the central theme is learning and work, and getting along with member and keep the rules. This is very important for workshop, for working environment. So basically this is what I want to tell you. So what is the third dimension of workshop planning? Or this is not particular, this is a little bit about theory. What is the third dimension of workshop planning? So workshop planning involved in technical, social, political, and ethical. I will show you here. You can see the diagram. Can you see? I hope you can see it. The diagram, can you? Yeah, I think the word might be upside down, but you know, the third dimension of the workshop planning, you have technical, you have social, political, and then you have ethical. Okay, this is basically the technical is always on the surface, social, political is always on the second layer, ethics always on the third layer, the very bottom, just like you're planting the seeds, you know, and then you planting the plants, the flowers, you have the roots on the bottom. The most important, everything relies on the roots. If roots die, everything dies. So this is the most layer. This is second layer, the stem of the plant, and the surface is just the top part of the plant. This is just like a flower pot. This is an example of the workshop planning, and it's called the third dimension of workshop planning. So this is just a theory. Okay, you understand now? I'm going to go through a little bit detail into each one of them. Not a lot, but because I talk about it in my other videos, you can search it to my playlist. Search it to my playlist, and you find workshop strategies, and you can watch that. Although the video was not very good because it's making quite a while ago, and it was just my beginning of the doing the adult education ingredients. So but perhaps you can, I'm guaranteed that you can get some information out of it from the theory of workshop. So first of all, I'm going to talk about the technical. So what do you mean by technical? As you have seen already, technical is on the very top part, just like the plant, you know, the top of the plant. So the technical is on the surface of the model. It receives the most attention and concern to practitioners. So it's concerned about like basic rules and you know, the association, the competition among the workers and all that. It's very surface one. And the second layer is about the social political, which is a little bit more deep now. It's about the planning, the context of the workshop, the context of what you have to do in your work and all that, and client system, how the client system work, administrator and all that, you know, and to justify and focus planning, and then they have more detail in how to plan the workshop, and in another way, in the work situation, what is the planning for doing certain job, you know, different profession, you have different kind of jobs, you need tasks you need to do, so you need to plan, the second one, focusing on the planning. So the third one is to of the social political is to clarify the intended outcome. So when you plan, you should know what will be the outcomes, and you should plan about the outcomes. And it is the interplay of power and interacts in the planning. So during the planning process in the social political section, the second layer, you bound to have a lot of like power and all that displayed by the members in the process. So this is in the social political section, a layer. So it is the complexities of involving other people in the process. So this process will have interaction between everybody, between administrators, between the participants, and all that. So they bound to have a power. They bound to have a quite complex system in the second layer. So now we come to the final layer, the bottom one, the root one is the ethical. The ethical is the most important part. If you have no ethical, the whole system will collapse. So ethical is the deepest level of planning. So in this planning, we concern about the ethical aspects of the planning. It is often like the questions of moral. The questions of morality arise, like you involve in sexual harassment, you involve in anything. This is the the most important layer. It's the most important that you can hold out all the organization, but it is very hard to do it. But through organization, through practice, we can train ourselves to be in this part of the system, of the third dimension system, working planning. And it concerns about also the focus on discussing and reflecting in the moral justification. So for what we are doing or not doing. So this is a part where we can focus on, reflecting on what we are doing morally. Are we doing the right thing? Are we doing the thing right? And all that, we can question ourselves. So needs experience. This is we need experienced people to do this. We need very experienced people in order to hold up the whole system. We need a very controlled, a very experienced and very disciplined people whom they can hold up the whole system. In order not to let the system collapse and stand strong, we need in this part of the, in this layer of the system, the third dimension system, we need this kind of people, very experienced, strong, and can hold up the system. So the ethics of planning, and then we know how to arrive, because we need this kind of personality so we can arrive at a satisfactory answer. Yeah, okay, I just basically just tell you about the theory, okay, what the workshop planning require. And if you have your own suggestion or your comment, or you're not happy about what I say about the theory, but it's not my theory, it's the researchers, those who have done that before, the past, and they've informed us about all that. So you can, anyway, you feel free to put your comment or suggestion about this under the comment section, all right? You are most welcome. Now I'm going to talk about another theory about the working planning. Is about the 4 motivational conditions of the framework for workshop design. Now about workshop design, again another theory, and they have to be in order. Like workshop design have to be in order from 1, establishing inclusion, to number 2 is to developing the attitudes, and then number 3 is to enhancing meaning, and number 4 is to engendering competition. So I'm going to go through like little bit about each one of them. So number 1, what do you mean by establishing inclusion? Here it is how to establish the inclusion, how to include everybody, even though they don't know each other, how to include everyone in the workshop, in the workshop system. Number 2 is developing the attitude. So what caused, like for example, what caused the attitudes? What is causing the morality, immorality, and all that? Developing the attitudes, developing your attitudes, good attitudes towards the working environment. For example, sexual harassment. For example, like a lot of things. So how do you develop the attitude of each participants and the people involved in the workshop? And number 3 is enhancing meaning. So it includes here it includes the intrinsic motivation internally. So has this working give me meaning? What's the meaning of when I work here? Are you interested in the work at all? The context of the work, and what is it that can give you some motivation intrinsically, innerly, which means innerly. Yeah, all that. The intrinsic motivation here. Okay, such as number 4, we go to the engendering competition. So they're bound to have a competition in the workshop, which is good, very good. In competition, with competition everybody can improve, and work-wise can improve, the organization will be improved, the profession will be improved. So how to engender the competence? Of course, we use assessment. Like example, real life assessment, response to a problem, or counteract, anything about assessment would be good to engender the competition. Now, we come into the, not theory now, we come into the practical. Here the question is, what is the most important personality that needs in group learning? In every group, we need a facilitators. There should be a facilitators. Facilitators can be in the form of administrator or the manager. Those are people acting as a facilitators. So Because our facilitators is in charge of the group's introduction and in charge of the explanation, the questions, and the guidelines, the clear guidelines for the participants, and in charge of the moral approaches of behavior of the participants. So they are very much focused on the bringing people together in a trust use, and then they use the ice-breaking activities, which is very effective using the ice-breaking activities. If you don't know what's ice-breaking, you can Google it and see what's ice-breaking. Okay, I think everybody knows if you're working in the workshop, if you're a facilitators, definitely. Next one, at the moment, of course, everybody has gone through the COVID-19, so the face-to-face workshop has switched to virtual workshop, online, online virtual. So how are we going to conduct virtual workshop? Of course, in the virtual workshop, easy we know we should use audio conferencing, voice conferencing like Zoom and all that, and audio graphics and video conferencing. We can use like print-based instruction, World Wide Web, CD-ROM, and multimedia, etc. Another one asked question is, okay, what are the 3 things we need to consider and conducting the virtual workshop? Okay, the theory, now we get back to the theory about virtual workshop. The first one is the learning factors. We first one is learning factors. The second one is the I think it's the nature of learning activities, and the third one is about the media selection. So the theory about virtual workshop, what do you mean by learning factors in the virtual workshop? Okay, again, I just say that now we are talking about theory in the virtual workshop. The learning factors will be considered about the age of the participants, the characteristic, and the gender, etc. Okay, this is the first one, learning factors. The second one is the nature of learning activities. So what are they? These are the like defining learning goals and objectives, identifying the learning activities necessary. This is still I'm still on the theory about the virtual learning in the workshop. Okay, now we know the second one is the nature of learning activities. The first one is learning factors, of course. Now we come to the third one, is the media selection. Media, which media you use, and etc. Okay, in the virtual workshop, you need to use social media like Facebook or Zoom, and all that, etc. And the final one, what are other final of this live stream? The question is, what are other accessories that could also be useful on the distance workshop? So distance workshop, we need technical support, we need instructor support, we need learner support, and we need administrative support. Okay, all that. That's all I know, and I give you all the information about workshop strategies, theory or practical. And I hope you are happy about that. And if you have any suggestion or comment, or not happy about it or happy about it, positive feedback or negative feedback, all welcome. You just put under the comment section there, and we can all discuss together. And also, the upcoming live stream will be next month. I will do my my live stream more often, like next year, 2021, and I still a little bit camera shy, so that's why I take it slow. And I will be having my holiday next week, but so my videos, the scheduled videos, which is Monday and Thursday, will be like, I will be doing it. If I got time during my traveling, I will do some. I will go online and do some of the I might have a live streaming during those time, like from the 4th of December to maybe 14th of December. If I have any information, if I have time to do it, if I'm not traveling, I will jump on and do a live stream for the section. Otherwise, I will just start to get into the normal routine after the 14th of December, which is I will schedule it on Monday, Thursday, as you know. The video will be up on every Monday and Thursday as usual. Okay. Okay, that's all for me today for my live stream, and so much information. And until next time, I'm glad that you are tuning in today. Thank you very much for you tuning in, and hope you have a good holiday and Merry Christmas, early Merry Christmas to all of you, although it is not even December. So that's all. Okay, God bless, and see you next time, and goodbye.